Good morning to you
morning.
both.
What's happening in the newspapers today?
Well, the first story I thought we should go to is a story on the front page of today's Australian about it's a report that's been commissioned by Tony Shepherd, the leading businessman, with the Menzies Research Centre. And it really focuses on the fact that our budget in Australia is becoming completely unsustainable. It's got some extraordinary figures there that show that our budget really is way too reliant on personal and company tax. It's 73% of our budget revenue, and that spending is blowing out every year. And there's an interesting figure there that welfare is increasing by 5.9% per annum, and it draws a lot of comparisons with Japan, which is, as many people know, has a huge ageing population problem, which Australia will have into the future. And we will see now we have about 4.5 workers for every pensioner, but in 40 years we'll have about 2.1.
So what's he want done? If we take his argument to its logical extension, spending slashed?
Spending slashed and really changing the nature of how much we're spending when it comes to pensions, when it comes to, I think, especially middle class welfare, and what does government fund in our economy has got to be a really, really major part of the conversation into the future. It's something that Japan is struggling with. They have a huge pension bill in Japan, and government deficit is way more than we have here in Australia. But we can, if we take our economic circumstances into the future, what they're facing in Japan is what we will be facing in a few years' time.
Let's have a look at The Age, and this is a really interesting story on underemployment.
It is a really interesting story. The Brotherhood of St Lawrence is releasing a report today on really, really bad news for youth unemployment, but also underemployment. So they're saying that underemployment is the highest level it's been in 40 years. Almost 1 in 5 kids between 18 to 24 are underemployed, so they want more hours than they currently have. I think it's a really interesting question that it raises with the penalty rates discussion too, which has the prospect, if we do see the penalty rates decision respected by the Parliament, we will be able to see more hours opened up for young people who do tend to work on weekends.
Well, that's disputed by some, of course.
I think the evidence is from the small business community that they're very keen to take on more people where the penalty rates aren't imposed on Saturdays and Sundays, and of course where small businesses aren't open on Sundays because of penalty rates, there are the opportunities where they can open.